Hey everybody, welcome back to another video of X's and O's where we break down B2B websites, looking for best practices and maybe not so best practices so that we can all learn together. And I hope these are helpful as you look at your site and make it a more powerful marketing asset for yourself. If you are interested in getting a breakdown of your site on X's and O's, just leave us a comment. We'll add it to the queue and get to it as we can. Just know that it will be published on YouTube for the world to see. So today we have One World Inc., and they are a global pharma distributor. They help get products that are here to other places in the world that they don't have access to those things. So we've got the site here. Let's get it going. All right. So here we are with One World Inc. So the very first thing that I notice, let's just talk about the pros of the design real quick. Over here on the left, we see our navigation. I actually really like it. It's clean. I like that it's over to the left. It kind of causes me, who looks at a lot of different websites, to pause and investigate. And whether prospects and new visitors realize this or not, they're likely going to experience the same thing. When most navigations are up here at the top, and users expect that. But having it over to the left can really cause for folks to stop and pay attention. So I like that. From a design perspective, it's very clean and organized over here. But the first thing that actually caught my eye was right here, our good friend, the slider. Right, so you've got our little guys over here. So sliders have been around for a long time. They were popular in earlier web designs. It allowed for people to get more content on the page. But from a user's perspective, they can be a challenge. And the reason why is sliders, the speed at which they change, not everyone reads at the same speed and comprehends at the same speed. So a lot of times it actually causes confusion. One of the things that we want to do when we talk about websites, and we talk about the above the fold, the very first thing that you see, is we want to make impact. We want to be clear, and we want to make sure that that user feels good about where they are. And a slider can disrupt that because there's movement and there's change. And if you're trying to read something and you can't finish it before it slides, we've got an issue. So generally speaking, when we run into sliders, we're asking the question of the content and material that you're trying to get across, what is the most important one? And let's just stick with that. Make an impact, pick one, and choose. All right, so that's the slider. We do see a little mouse right here that is telling the user, hey, you need to scroll down. I like that. That's very helpful. And so good execution of that. So let's scroll down and see what else we have. Okay, your international specialty pharma distributor. It's a clear statement of this is what we do with an explainer video. That's good. Okay. All right, so one thing to just point out here is, each of these sections here, it's a lot of text. And if you watch a lot of these videos, you're going to hear me say this. Paragraphs usually don't work well on home pages. And that's because most people are here to skim. They're not here to read. And so I actually really like, who you help. We help pharmaceutical manufacturers and clinical researchers and healthcare providers. That's all great. And, if we could change this to just 1 to 2 bullet points, that would go a long way in really delivering the message that you're trying to in this section. But I do like stating who you're for. That's a great way to propel the people that you don't want and to bring in the ones that you do. So let's keep scrolling. All right, so here's a validation section, right? So each of these logos gives that user, that visitor, a level of trust. Okay, hey, these guys, they've gone through different methodologies and different requirements to be licensed, and so that makes me feel good. I'm going to be working with a company that I can trust. I really like the use of the validation here. Now as we scroll down, okay, so let's talk about this section. So this looks like, you know, a blog section, but we have one here that's just text. We have one here that's text. On this side, okay, here I see it. Now it's saying that these are events, but they kind of look like they're supposed to be the same thing. It's a little bit confusing on this, just a layout perspective. You know, if I were going to redesign this, I would break them apart. I would take all the blog stuff and I would put it in one section, and I would take all the events information, I'd put it in a section right below it. So as we scroll down, and then we get to the footer section. Okay, let's come back up to the top. Just some advice. So here we have the global arm of specialty pharma. Okay, care, compassion, commitment, and connecting the world of medicine with the world of need. So of those three that it's scrolling through, I actually like this one the best, the global arm of specialty pharma. Now, what could be done underneath this is that kind of either that empathy statement or another, maybe more of a how. So the global arm of specialty pharma, we deliver XYZ to XYZ, or you know, getting really focused in on the who we're for. And I would just, again, with the slider, I would just pick one and get rid of it altogether. You know, as we look to the side, the only real call to action that we see on the site is the contact us. So we talk about this in other videos as well, but giving something of value to the visitors in exchange for some contact information. So if I'm the business owner or leader of One World Inc., I'm asking myself, you know, what do I know that my users would want to know, that I could give them in exchange for some contact information, you know, and weave that into the homepage. So, you know, in a typical site, we would have this hero section. We're making that that empathetic statement, or the how. We're getting that feeling for the users that they're in the right place. And as you scroll, your international specialty pharma distributor, I like the video. Again, I would likely take the validation section right here and move that up, right? Because what we know is on average only 40% of people scroll below that first section of the site. So we want to get the things that are most important up a little bit higher. So I would move this validation section up to be right here above this content. And I would likely weave into this section right here some type of call to action. Now you can build it into the section of the site, or you could leverage, again, some type of, maybe it's a hover type of a bar here or on the side with that light call to action. Right. So what could we do to actually inspire someone to take a step? You know, one of the things we learn in marketing when you just do more and more and more of it is that people have to be told what to do. And that's no different on a website. If you want people to engage with you, you have to tell them to. Download this, fill out this form, and do those things. So overall, homepage of One World Inc. Really like, again, that left nav. I think it's intuitive, it's clean, and it makes it easy to get around the site. We talked about the slider and some things that we could address there, some calls to actions, but overall, pretty good website with some opportunities to improve. If you thought this was helpful, would love for you to subscribe to this channel. Leave us comments on what you think, and we'll see you next time.